Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Ashwarya with you. All the developing news stories at the top of one coming up ahead. Here are the headlines first. Supreme Court expresses anguish over filing of defective petitions on Article 370. Bench dismisses petition filed by Advocate M Sharma on technical grounds. Centre tells the apex court that situation in Jammu and Kashmir improving day by day and curbs being lifted gradually. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu calls on government, civil society to work together to preserve India's rich cultural heritage. Dedicates to the nation Shyamli Heritage House of Rabindranath Tagore in Kolkata. Calls Tagore India's pride and glory. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviews the state of the economy with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and ministry officials. Focus on ways to speed up growth. Flood situation improves in Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Gujarat. Several rivers above danger mark in Madhya Pradesh. IMD forecasts heavy to very heavy rain in Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh and Gujarat in the next 24 hours. And President Rajnath Singh, Prime Minister Modi pay emotional tributes to Atal Bihari Vajpayee on his first death anniversary. BJP leaders including Amit Shah, JP Nadda and others remember the party's icon. Vice President Naidu calls him an astute parliamentarian and most beloved leader. Our top stories from Jammu and Kashmir, where after a peaceful conclusion of the Independence Day celebrations yesterday, the authorities are now likely to review the ongoing restrictions in the state. However, restrictions in several areas are likely to continue today till Friday prayers are over. And Jammu and Kashmir administration will ask the schools and colleges in the valley to open from Monday. Like last Friday, prayers will mostly be allowed in local mosques. Today, the state authorities have directed their employees, including those working in the civil secretariat, to immediately report for duty. Governor Satyapal Malik had directed the resumption of normal functioning of the government secretariat and other offices after a review of the security situation in the state on Thursday evening. Meanwhile, in related news, the Supreme Court has expressed its anguish over defective petitions challenging the scrapping of provisions of Article 370 of the Constitution. A bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi said that the petition by Advocate M Sharma challenging the scrapping of Article 370 has no meaning. The bench said that it can dismiss the petition on technical grounds and added that there were 5 other petitions in the registry which are defective. The apex court asked the lawyers to cure defects in their petitions on Article 370 and adjourn the hearing. In another petition, the Supreme Court said that it will wait for some time before passing any direction on the plea, seeking the removal of restrictions on the media in Jammu and Kashmir in the wake of abrogation of Article 370. This after the centre said that the curbs are being lifted gradually. And during the hearing, the centre also told the apex court that the situation is improving in Jammu and Kashmir and that the curbs are being lifted gradually. All right, let's get an update. Ravindra Singh Shorana, our colleague, is now joining us on the phone line. Ravindra, what more can you tell us about the court ruling on several petitions that have been filed against the abrogation of Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir?
Yeah, that's right, Shaurya. Today, when this case came up for the hearing, different petitioners were there, and one of the petitions which was initially filed by M Sharma, and he was the one among first petitioners. His petition, while came for hearing, the Supreme Court has said that this petition is faulty and on the ground of technicality, it deserves to be dismissed. But if we will dismiss this petition, then it can affect the rest of the petitions which have also been filed for seeking justice in this particular case. So we are not going to dismiss this petition, and the Supreme Court asked the petitioner to go back and make the required changes in the petition, and then he should come and file it to the registry. Also, the same happened with one of the other petitioners who is from Kashmir, and also while hearing the petition of the Kashmiri journalist, the Supreme Court has said that some of this petition has some of the factual mistakes, that publications of newspaper is not going on, but the court said that the publication is going on, and there is no problem with the publication of the newspapers in Valley and Jammu region. And also while responding to this, the Attorney General K. Venugopal said that the situation is under control, and after some of the days we can lift rest of the ban on the communication as well. Aishwarya.
All right. Thank you so much, Ravindra, for all those updates on that big story. Let's get to some other news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday comprehensively reviewed the state of the economy with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Prime Minister Modi, after delivering his sixth address to the nation on the Independence Day yesterday, went into a brainstorming session with Sitharaman and all the top officials in her ministry. The meeting was to assess the nature of the slowdown in economy and its long-term impact. Now, there are expectations that the government would soon come out with sector-specific stimulus. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had also earlier held a series of meetings with the bankers, industry, capital market players and real estate earlier this month to firm up steps to increase investment and boost the economy. And Union and Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar on Thursday announced that a massive campaign will be launched to make India free of single-use plastic. Javadekar made the announcement at Sao Paulo in Brazil yesterday. And this after Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his Independence Day speech urged people to shun single-use plastic and encourage the use of jute and cloth bags to protect the environment. Environment Minister Javadekar said that a massive public campaign will be launched engaging all the stakeholders. And in this regard, a series of meetings now will be held with all the stakeholders, including the state governments, to chalk out a concrete plan to make it a people's campaign. Prakash Javadekar, remember, is in Brazil to attend the ministerial meetings of the BRICS and BASIC countries. Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu today called on the government and the civil society organizations to get together and take up the task of preserving our tangible and intangible cultural heritage. Naidu was addressing the gathering after inaugurating and dedicating to the nation Shamli, the heritage house of Rabindranath Tagore in Kolkata. The Vice President called Tagore India's pride and glory. He also asked the general public to take an active interest in preserving monuments of the country. Speaking of India's rich vernacular architecture, the Vice President applauded the Archaeological Survey of India for the great restoration work of Shamli carried out by them. Shamli is an experimental mud house built at Shanti Niketan in 1935.
Poetry, which often takes the form of melodious songs called Ravindra Sangeet, has transformed popular Bengali music with its particular combination of reflective language and compatible tones. To Bengal, Tagore has been and remains an altogether exceptional literary figure, towering over all others. This is what people say. But I feel that he is an exceptional literary figure, towering all others of this country. With his translation of some of his poems, he became rapidly known in the West. His fame attained a luminous height, taking him across continents on lecture tours and tours of friendship. For India, especially Bengal, he is a great living institution, and for the world, he became the voice, the representative of India's spiritual heritage. He is indeed India's pride and glory. Shanti Niketan embodies Rabindranath Tagore's vision of a place of learning, that is, unencumbered by religious and regional barriers. Santiniketan was established in 1863 with the aim of helping education go beyond the confines of the classroom. Education is not for simple employment. Education is for enlightenment. Education is for enhancement of knowledge. Education is for empowerment. And at the end, of course, education also is for employment. Unfortunately, nowadays, we are looking at education only for employment. It is an enlightenment. That's the purpose with which this institute has been set up. By 1921, Santiniketan slowly grew into one of the most revered universities of India, the Vishwabharati University. It remains the abode to some of the most creative minds in the country, even now. Santiniketan was affectionately molded by Tagore on the principles of humanism, internationalism, and a sustainable environment.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today attended the closing ceremony of the International Army Scout Masters competition held at a military station in Jaisalmer. It was the first time that the Indian Army took part in this competition. 8 teams from Armenia, Belarus, China, Kazakhstan, India, Russia, Sudan and Uzbekistan participated in the 5-stage competition from 6th to 14th of August.
मुझे यकीन है कंपटीशन के दौरान सभी प्रतिभागियों को एक दूसरे से सीखने, अपने सामान्य लक्ष्यों को प्राप्त करने के लिए एक दूसरे के साथ काम करने का भी अवसर प्राप्त हुआ है। सेंट्रल एशिया के सभी देशों जैसे आर्मेनिया, बेलारूस, कजाकिस्तान और उज्बेकिस्तान के साथ हमारे हिस्टोरिकल रिलेशंस रहे हैं, जिसमें व्यापारिक और सांस्कृतिक रिश्ते भी शामिल हैं। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आगे आने वाले समय में हमारा और आपका साथ और अधिक बढ़ेगा।
And today is the first death anniversary of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Remembering one of the tallest leaders and one of the founder members of the party, the BJP paid tributes to Vajpayee at his memorial, Sadaiv Atal, in the national capital. President Ramnath Kovind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, BJP National Working President JP Nadda and other leaders of the party paid floral tributes to Vajpayee at his memorial. Vajpayee's daughter Nanita Kaul Bhattacharya and granddaughter Niharika were also present at his death anniversary function. The BJP stalwart died last year on 16th of August at All India Institute of Medical Sciences following a prolonged illness. He was 93. Former Prime Minister and BJP patriarch Atal Bihari Vajpayee, one of India's most charismatic and loved leaders, died last year in the national capital following prolonged illness. Born on 25th of December 1924, in Gwalior in Madhya Pradesh, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister for 13 days in 1996, then again between 1998 and 1999, and then again from 1999 to 2004. With his swearing in as Prime Minister after the parliamentary election of October 1999, he became the first and only person since Jawaharlal Nehru to occupy the office of the Prime Minister of India through 3 successive Lok Sabhas. He was the first Prime Minister since Indira Gandhi to lead his party to victory in successive elections. He was the founder member of the erstwhile Jan Sangh and the president of the BJP. He was the leader of the opposition throughout the term of the 11th Lok Sabha. He was also the External Affairs Minister in the Morarji Desai government from 24th of March 1977 to 28th of July 1979. He was also the recipient of the country's highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna, and also the second highest honor, the Padma Vibhushan. And Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu also today paid tributes to former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee on his first death anniversary. In a series of Twitter messages, the Vice President said that Vajpayee was a role model an astute parliamentarian, a visionary statesman, and a most beloved leader. Above all, a great human being who believed in the core Indian values of harmony and synthesis. He added that Vajpayee brought systematic changes in the governance of the country through technology, innovation, and research to improve the lives of people. On to some other news, President Rajnath Singh today visited BJP leader Arun Jaitley at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences along with Union Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan and other senior officials from the ministry. Remember, Jaitley has been undergoing treatment in the intensive care unit of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences since 9th of August after he was admitted here with the complaints of uneasiness, weakness and breathlessness. We'll take a very short break here. We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us.
भारत में ऑर्गन डोनेशन का जो जागृति बहुत कम है। हमारा जो किडनी डिजीज़, लीवर डिजीज़, हार्ट डिजीज़ जब पूरा ख़राब हो जाता है किडनी, उसको एंड स्टेज डिजीज़ कहते हैं, जिसमें हमें ऑर्गन किसी को देना ज़रूरी पड़ता है। तो इसमें हम दो तरह दे सकते हैं। एक तो कहते हैं लाइफ रिलेटेड, जब हम बचे हुए हैं तब अपने रिश्तेदार को, भाई बहन, पति पत्नी, माँ बाप, इसको हम दे सकते हैं। और जो मरे हुए हैं तो उसका ऑर्गन हम दे सकते हैं। ऐसे 8 ऑर्गन हमारा शरीर में है, जो हार्ट हो, किडनी हो, लीवर हो, वो दे सकते हैं। ऐसे इंटेस्टाइन हो, सारे दे सकते हैं। और कुछ टिश्यू है, जे हार्ट भाल्व्स हो, नस है, कार्टिलेज हो, बोन है, ये भी हम दे सकते हैं। कोई भी उम्र हो, कोई मेल हो, फीमेल हो, किसी भी कास्ट हो, रिलीजन हो, जो भी हो, इसमें कोई है नहीं, कोई भी दे सकता है। हमारा अंगदान जितना डेफिसिट, डिमांड और सप्लाई का मिसमैच, बहुत कुछ फुलफिल हो पाएगा और लोगों का बहुत ही भला होगा इसमें।
The Nehru Trophy boat race of Kerala, popularly called Vallam Kali in local parlance. This historic boat race dates back to 1952 when Pandit Nehru visited the state and a pageantry of boats accompanied him from Kottayam to Alappuzha. The race, conducted on the second Saturday of August every year, is a major tourist attraction. It's generally the snake boats which participate in the race, and hence the shape of the winner's trophy is also a replica of a snake boat.
Welcome back after the break. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will travel to Bhutan on 17th of August for a 2-day visit to explore ways to further strengthen and diversify the bilateral relationship. Ministry of External Affairs in a statement said that PM Modi's visit to India's trusted friend reflects the high priority that it attaches to its relations with a neighboring country. Remember, Bhutan was the first country that PM Modi visited after assuming charge as Prime Minister in 2014. During the visit, PM Modi will hold talks with his Bhutanese counterpart, Lotte Tshering, and is also expected to get an audience with the King of Bhutan.
Prime Minister's current visit may be seen as a continuum leading to a strengthened India-Bhutan partnership. As to what is on the agenda of the visit, well, I would say lots. For starters, 10 MOUs will be signed between the two countries, and there will be 5 inaugurations. The two sides will discuss the full range of bilateral relations. The two sides will also discuss international issues and regional issues of common concern. I would say Prime Minister's visit in 2019 is coming at a very fortuitous time for Bhutan, because Bhutan will shortly graduate to middle-income country status.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met Vice President M Venkaiah Naidu on Thursday. And Human Resource Development Minister Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank also met Vice President Naidu on Thursday. Naidu advised the minister to expedite the preparation of a detailed project report on the proposed setting up of NCRT Regional Institute of Education at Nellore in Andhra Pradesh. Naidu also told the HRD ministry to expedite the setting up of various educational institutions sanctioned under the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act. Monsoon update now, and flood hit Kerala saw water receding at many districts, even as the death toll in the state has risen to 108. Now, as per the latest government officials, 108 people have died in floods and landslides in the state, triggered by the second spell of monsoon since 8th of August, while 34 people are missing. Over 11,000 houses have been partially damaged and over 1,000 fully damaged. Meanwhile, search operations continued in Malappuram and in Wayanad, where a series of landslides had wiped out 2 villages last week, to trace those who are feared to have been buried alive. However, the flood situation has improved considerably in Karnataka, where the toll has gone up to 62. 14 persons are still classified as missing. Nearly 7 lakh people have been evacuated till date. Joint rescue teams comprising fire and emergency, SDRF, NDRF and the army evacuated 6.97 lakh people as on Thursday. Government officials said that as many as 943 relief camps are operational, where clean drinking water, food and other relief materials are being provided to over 3 lakh people who have been housed in them. And according to the government, 22 districts have been affected by the floods and incessant rains in the past few days. Meanwhile, incessant rains in various parts of Madhya Pradesh in the last 3 days left low-lying areas inundated as several rivers and streams are in spate. The maximum rainfall was reported in Jabalpur district. In some places, including Bhopal, the authorities had to open the gates of reservoirs to release the water after they were filled up to their maximum storage capacity. The Met Department has forecast isolated heavy to very heavy rainfall in western Madhya Pradesh and North Gujarat as well as Rajasthan in the next 24 hours. Talking about Rajasthan, parts of the state were lashed by heavy to very heavy rainfall on Thursday, and the Met Department said that there is a likelihood of isolated heavy to very heavy rainfall in Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh and western Uttar Pradesh as well, especially on Saturday and Sunday. Let's get you some sports news now. The Kapil Dev led a cricket advisory committee will interview 6 shortlisted candidates for the post of India's head coach in Mumbai today. Now, apart from Ravi Shastri, the other big names who will give presentations to the 3-member committee include former Australia all-rounder and Sri Lanka coach Tom Moody and ex-New Zealand and Kings 11 Punjab coach Mike Hesson. India's 2007 World T20 winning cricket manager Lal Chand Rajput, former Mumbai Indians head coach Robin Singh and West Indies Phil Simons are the other candidates in the fray. Remember, Simons was Afghanistan national team's coach until recently. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks so much for your time.